The next data structure is tuple, but before we talk about tuples, I'd like to take us back to variable and list so we can identify the similarities and differences. We know that with a variable, the first thing we do is to assign or declare a variable name and then assign a value or an element to the variable. So right here I have number and we assign the value of 1, and this could be, we can assign either numeric or string values. In this case, my variable is the boy is good. Now with variable, we know that we really can only assign one value or one element. Now with this string value, yes, there are multiple words, which is the boy is good. We have 4 words, but technically it's still all one value or one element because the string is in a single, or it's in this double quote, right? We also know with variable they are immutable, which means it cannot be changed. So if I use the upper method on my variable, so when we run this, we get the upper, the boy is good, but this does not change our original text or original string, which is lowercase. And we know that by, if we were to print, and let's print that, it still shows us the boy is good with lowercase. So that's variable. Now with a list, we know that with a list we can assign multiple elements into a list. So right here we have x, and x is assigned the values of the element 1, 2, 3, a, b, c. And also with a list, lists are mutable, which means it can change. So any function, so if we were to apply a method to this list, it can change, it changes the values inside of the list. So let's use the reverse method. Let's use the reverse method on my list. So I have my list, and when I run that, and then we have, let's print, so let's print my list. So now we have my list is reversed. So because lists are mutable, it means it can be changed. Tuple is similar to list in that it can store a collection of values or more than one element. And the main difference between tuple and list is that a tuple cannot be changed. So once we assign a value to a tuple, those value becomes permanent, except we reassign another value to that tuple. The way we create a tuple is, first we we declare a name for the tuple, and then we assign the values inside of a parenthesis. So we can see the difference. With a list, we have a block, a square bracket, but with a tuple we have parentheses, right? So we assign the values 1, 2, 3, and it of course can take on either numeric values or string values, right? And so we have a second tuple, which is my tuple, and we have the values the boy is mine, and all of these are separate elements. We can confirm the type of variable of the tuple, let's say y. When we run this, it tells us it's a tuple, and we can change this to my tuple. If we run that, it also tells us it is a tuple. Now another thing to note is, even though the rule of thumb is when we create a tuple, we insert the element inside of a parenthesis, we actually don't have to. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to create another tuple, and let's call this my tuple 2. And now I'm just going to assign this values. And when I'm just going to run this, nothing's really going to happen, but we can print. Let's say so we just want to find the type of my tuple 2. When we run this, it tells us it's a tuple. But like I said, the rule of thumb is we want to insert this inside of a parenthesis rather than just declaring it this way. We want it to be in parenthesis. Also, we can save a single element inside of a tuple. Now, if we simply assign the value of boy to my tuple as I have it right here, this would be a string. And we can actually try that. Let's run that. And if we look at the type, it tells us it's a string. Now, to make this a tuple, all we need to do is we need to end this by adding a comma. So we have to separate, even though we don't have any other element added, we still have to include a comma to make this a tuple. So I'm going to save that, run this again. And now we can see that it tells us that my tuple 3 is a tuple. So we can see that tuples combine features of both variables and lists. Now you may be wondering if list and tuples does pretty much the same thing, why use a tuple? Typically we would use tuple if we have a data set that does not change. So if we're working with specific data and we either don't want that data to change or we know that data wouldn't change, then it's best to save that as a tuple. We can also use some of the functions and operations we've tried so far with variables and lists. So if we wanted to find out the total number of elements inside of this tuple, my tuple, we can use the length function to find out. And when we run that, we get 4 because we have 4 elements inside of my tuple. We can also concatenate multiple tuples. So we have my tuple. And when we add plus, there should be an L, my tuple plus, we have Y. When we run that, we get the bar is mine. And so essentially we have the bar is mine concatenated with Y. We can also have Y multiplied by 3, and then we get Y pretty much displayed 3 times. We can also use the for loops with tuples. So let's say for x in my tuple, print x. And when we run that, now we get the bar is my all printed as an individual element. What if we want to find out an item within a tuple that has the highest value? We can use a function to do that as well. And I'm going to declare another tuple. Let's call this my tuple 4. And inside of this, we want to have the values of, let's say, 20, 12, 45. Okay, so we have all those values, and what we want is to find out the lowest value or even the highest value. We can do that using the max and min function. So we type, and when we run this, it gives us the maximum or the highest value, which is 789, and we can use the min function as well. And that tells us the minimum value is 3. Also, we can convert a list into a tuple. So let's say we have a list. All right, so we have this list. We can, and we know this is a, we're missing a comma. Okay, let's run that again. So we have this list, and now we I mean, of course we know it's a list, but let's check the type. It tells us it's a list. Now we can convert this into a tuple, and to do that we can use the tuple function. So I'm going to write that out. All right. So what we're doing is this. So we have this list name, a list, right? And now we're using the tuple function to convert all of this. So all of this element will be converted into a tuple. So let's run this. And now when we check the type of a tuple, we get tuple. And let's just print that out as well. So we get it printed out as a tuple. The next data structure in Python is dictionaries. Dictionaries are useful when we need to create a relationship between two pieces of data. One way to think of a dictionary is picturing an address book where you find contact information of a person by their name. Below we have the contact information of three people, Peter, John, and Camille. And we can see that there is an association between Peter and 22 Duncan Street. So that's the address. John lives at 4th Street and Camille at 102 Garnett Street. There are two parts to this association. We have the names and we have the addresses. The names are what we refer to as keys in Python, and the addresses are the values. So we have the keys and we have the values. When we create a dictionary, the key must be unique. Imagine in our contact information, we have more than one Peter. Let's say this John is Peter. And we need to send a gift to Peter. Now, clearly we have two different addresses. How do we find out, how do we know which Peter we are sending the gift to? So it is important that, and it is actually a must, that when we create a key, the key must be unique. On the other hand, the values don't have to be unique because we can have Peter and John living at the same address. They could be, siblings, right? So the key is unique, but the values don't have to be unique. And I suppose this is why this data structure is called dictionary. Because if you think of a dictionary, we have words and we have meanings. Now, for a particular word, it's just the word is unique, but then it may have multiple meanings, to that word. How do we create a dictionary? The first step is we need a name for the dictionary. In our case, that is contact. We have an assignment operator, and then we open the pair of curly braces, and that would be shift and the key next to the letter P on your keyboard. And then we have our first, we write out our key. Right here we have Peter, and because it's a string, it has to be in either a single or double quote. We have a colon, and then we assign a value to that key. We assign the value Duncan Street, also in quotes. If we are assigning more than one key value per, we separate that by using a comma, and then we enter our second key, John. We have a colon, and then we assign the value 4th Street. We have a comma, and then we have Camille, and also assign 102 Garnett Street to Camille, and then we close the curly braces. I'm just going to execute the cell, and now we can print out print contact, and we can now see that that's been printed out for us. We have Peter, Duncan Street, John 4th Street, Camille 102 Street, and we can of course confirm the data type of contact, and we see that it's a dictionary. It's indicated with dict. If we need to retrieve a specific value from our dictionary, we can use the key to retrieve that value. And the way we do that is we index into the value similar to how we index into a list. And when we run that, we get 4th Street. If we want to print out Camille's address, similarly, we just have contact. We have a square bracket, and then we pass the key. We print that, we get 102 Garnett Street. We should also keep in mind that the keys are case sensitive. So there's a difference between a lowercase p for Peter and uppercase Peter. So when we run this, it gives us a key error, and that's again, this is just saying that Python is really just saying that there is no key with the name Peter, and that's because we declared Peter as lowercase p and not uppercase p. So just something to keep in mind as you create your keys. Dictionaries are mutable, which means we can easily make changes to both our keys and to our values. To add a new contact information, all we need to do is first we write the name of the dictionary, which is contact, and then we enter the key, and let's say the name is Alex, And what's the value we want to assign to Alex? We can have, let's say, 22 Grove Street. Okay, and now we can execute that cell. And now if we print out our dictionary, we get Alex 22 Grove Street has now been added to the dictionary. We can also update the values within a key. So let's say we want to change John's address to 24th Street instead of 4th Street. All we need to do is we have the name of our dictionary, and then what's the key, and the key for us is John. And what's the change we want to make? So we want to assign a new value, which is 24th Street. And we have to put this in either single or double quotes. And now when we execute the cell, we can go ahead and print. And now we can see that John's address has been updated to 24th Street. We can also delete a key, and to do that, the first thing we have the del keyword, and then then we enter the dictionary, and then we want to enter the key we want to delete. And for us, let's assume we want to delete Alex, and when we run that, and now if we just copy this, and if we print this, we can see that Alex has been deleted from the dictionary. What if we want to find out if a particular key exists within our dictionary? We can do that using the in keyword as well. So let's say we want to find out if Peter exists within our dictionary. So the key of Peter, right? So we have Peter in, and the name of the dictionary is contact. And when we execute this, it gives us a Boolean value of true. What if we want to check if Alex exists? And we know that, we deleted this already. If we execute, it gives us a false. We can also use the not in. So we can, let's say the key of, let's say Bello not in contact. And this will give us true because, of course, we don't have a key of Bello in our contact. And what if we try key of, let's say, Camille not in contact, and when we run that, it gives us false. And in the same way, if we were to use an uppercase C and we run this, it tells us true because, again, it is case sensitive. What if we want to find out if a particular value exists within our dictionary? Because right now, yes, we're able to check for keys, but if we wanted to confirm if 24th Street exists within our dictionary, can we do that? I'm just going to write this out first. So let's say 24th Street, and we say in contact. And when we run this, it's going to tell us false. And the reason is because Python is looking for 24th Street amongst the keys and not the values. Now, there is a dictionary method that we can use to print out the values within a dictionary. And I'm just going to show you that. So we have, when we run this prints out it shows us all of the values inside of the dictionary, the contact dictionary. So now I'm just going to copy this, and so by using this method, we are able to find out values, or we're able to print out values inside of the key. So now it tells us that 24th Street exists as a value inside of the dictionary, or inside of the key, inside of one of the keys at least. All right, let's take a look at some of the commonly used dictionary methods. We have the dictionary shoes, and we have 3 key pair values. The first key is type, and we have the value sneakers as the type of the shoe. The next key is color, and then we have assigned to color the value, or the value is white. And then finally, the third key is size, and we have the shoe size as 11. Now, if we can use the first method we will take a look at is the keys method. we use the keys method to return the keys of the dictionary. So if we want to find out the keys for the dictionary shoes, all we need to do is what's the name of the dictionary that shoes, and then we append the keys function or the keys method. And I just need to run this, and now let's run this again. So now we get the type. It shows us the type. So it shows us the keys, which are type, color, and size. The next method is the values method, and the values method returns the values of the dictionary. So the same way, we have shoes, and then we have the values, we have the method, and then it gives us sneakers, white, and 11. So essentially, the keys give us the keys, the values method gives us the values of the dictionary. The next method is the items method. We use the items method to return a list containing a tuple for each key pair. Let's see what that looks like. So we have again shoes, then we have items method, and when we run that, so we see that we have a tuple, but inside, we have a list, and then inside of the list we have the tuple, which shows us the key value pair. So we have the type as sneakers, we have color as white, and then we have size as 11. So this returns a tuple inside a list. We can also use the copy method to copy a dictionary. Right now we have the shoes dictionary. What if we want to copy the key value pair into another dictionary? So let's create another dictionary name, and we can call this let's say shoes copy. And what we want is we want to now copy the key value pair inside of our shoes dictionary by using the copy method. When we do that, we don't see anything yet, but now if we print out shoes copy, we see that we have type as sneakers, color as white, size as 11. And this is definitely different from the shoes dictionary. So this is a separate dictionary that we have created by copying the values, the key value pair inside of shoes into shoes copy. We can use update method to update the dictionary with specified key value pair. So now that we have a new dictionary, shoes copy, what if we want to make changes to shoes copy? So let's say we want to update the type of shoes from sneakers and we want to change that to boots. How do we do that? And all we need to do is we just append the update method, and inside of the parentheses we have to enter the key. What we want to change is the type, and we want to change the type from sneakers, we want to change that to boots. Now once we run that, and now we can print shoe copy, and something is wrong, or there's an S missing, so shoes copy. Let's run that again. So now we have our type as boots, so that's been updated from sneakers to boots. The color is still white and the size is 11. So that's how we use the update method to make changes. What if we want to return the value of a specified key? We can do that by using the get method. So let's say from our shoes, let's just use shoes, we want to retrieve the values of the color key. We can do that by using the get method. So we have to pass the key that we want the value. So now let's just say we want the color, and when we run that, it gives us white. If we change this key to size, we get 11. So we use the get method to retrieve the value from a specified key. We can use the pop method to remove an element with a specified key. Let's assume we want to, from shoes copy, we want to delete the size from that dictionary. We can do that by using the pop method. So we have our shoes copy, and now we have the pop, and now all we need to do is we have to pass the key, and in this case it will be size. So first it shows us the value inside of the key size, but now if we print out shoes copy, and we have to comment this out, otherwise Python will try and run this again, and that will give us an error because we don't have the key size anymore. So when we run this, now we see that we only have two key pair values, which is type boots and color, and the color is white. The last method we will take a look at is the set default. Set default is used to return the value of a specified key. However, if the key does not exist, set default inserts the key with a specified value. So in other words, we can use set default to insert a new key value pair. We just deleted the size, the key size and the value 11. Why don't we try and set that as default? So we have shoes copy. And inside of the parentheses now we have to pass size as the key, and then we want the value to be 11. And now when we print out shoes copy, we see that size and the key size and the value 11 has been added to the dictionary. Earlier we created this dictionary. At the moment we have the street information for Peter, John and Camille. What if we want to add more values? By that I mean we also want to capture the gender and the telephone number of all three persons in our dictionary. We can do that by storing the values inside of a list. So I will highlight all of this and then just press the square bracket on the keyboard, and now we can insert new values. So what we have done is to create a list with multiple elements or values. So we have the street, we have the telephone number, and we have the gender. Now, although all those values or elements are inside of just a single list, the same rule applies in terms of index. And in terms of index, so the street will be index 0, the telephone number will be index 1, and then the gender will be index 2. Let's print out John's information. When we run this, we get the street, we get the telephone number, and we get the gender. Of course, if we choose to just print, we just want to print the gender information, we can do that by using the index. So we have contact, we have the key, and now we have the index position, which will be 1. And then we get the value. So the index position would be 2. For if we're printing out the gender, that would be 2. So we can change that to 2. So we get the gender. And just so you know, this would be the same thing. I'm going to copy this. Right now we are counting from left to right. We can do the opposite as well. If we want, we can use a negative. So if we type -1, we get the same value if we're counting from behind. Let's say we need Camille's address and telephone number. We can definitely print that out. So now we can print from the beginning, which is 0. And we also know we don't have to add the 0. We can just leave that blank. But now we want to save 0 up to index 2. And when we print that, now we get the address and the telephone number. And like I said, we can certainly leave this out and it still works fine. Another thing I would like to show you is this. At the moment, if we need to print out, say, the telephone number for Camille, we need to know the index position, which is fine now because we only have 3 elements. But imagine if we have up to 10 elements, which is very possible. Let's say we have the email, we have Camille's Instagram ID, Facebook ID, user ID, password. it quickly adds up, and it becomes a tedious work to count the index every time we need to retrieve a particular information. One way to solve that is by creating another dictionary within the outer dictionary, and we use the key of the inner dictionary as the metadata. Let me show you what I mean. First, I'm just going to copy this. Just copy this and create some new cells, and I'll paste this here. And we give this a new dictionary name. We just call this contact 2. I'll remove all the square brackets that makes this a list. And we want to replace that with a dictionary. Okay, so now so right now we know Duncan Street is the address. So I'll create a key of address. Okay, and now we want a key for telephone as well, and we just call that telephone as well. And we just use the colon to assign the value of the telephone number to that, and then we do the same thing for the gender. Now we can do exactly the same thing for John. Then for Camille, okay. So let's go through this. Let's go through this first. So what we've done is that, like I said, we have created a new dictionary inside of. So we have this inner dictionary inside of the outer dictionary. So yes, we have a key of Peter, but now we're creating another key. We create another key of address, and then the value is Duncan Street. And then we have telephone number, which shows the telephone number, and then we have gender, which shows the gender. So let's say we want to print out John's telephone number. The first thing we need to do is we call the name of the dictionary, which is contact 2. Then we call the first key, which is John. And then we have a second key, which would be the telephone. When we print that out, now we get the telephone number for John. So the advantage of this is now we don't have to sort of try and figure out the index. We can just call the name of that key, which we've now assigned a value. So if we want to print out, let's say, Camille's address, we can do the same thing. When we run that, we get 102 Garnet Street. Finally, let's confirm Peter's gender. So we have male for Peter. So this is a really good way in which we can, so we've seen how we use list inside of a dictionary, but also how we can embed a dictionary inside of a dictionary. All right, so the first thing we want to do is create a dictionary. The name of the dictionary would be concert, and we want to assign 5 keys to the dictionary. The keys will represent the name of the artist that customers can buy a ticket to see, and each key will have 2 values that represent the age limit and the number of available tickets for the concert. Okay, so we have the keys for concert, the dictionary. The first key is Beyonce. We have Blake Shelton, and I believe there should be L here. We have Katy Perry, Adam Levine, and John Legend. So we have all the keys that we need. The next step would be to add some values. For the values, the first value would be the age limit, because we want to indicate an age limit for all the tickets. So whoever is purchasing that ticket, we want to make sure they're within the age limit specified. And then the second value would be the numbers of tickets that are available. All right, so let's go to the values. So what we are saying here is, for a Beyonce ticket, you have to be, the minimum age is 16. So if you're less than 16 years, you won't be able to purchase this ticket. And then the number of available tickets is 5. For Blake Shelton, the age limit is 18, and we have 7 tickets available. Katy Perry, age 16, we have 4 tickets available. Adam Levine, age 18, we have 7 tickets available. And John Legend, the minimum age is 16 with 5 tickets available. The next step would be to create a while loop, because the system we are creating needs to loop back once a specific action is taken. So for this, we just need to type while true. And next, we want to be able to ask the customer what ticket, or because right now we have 5 different tickets, so we need to confirm which of the tickets the users or the customers would like to buy. For this, we need an input function. So first, let's create a variable ticket, and this is where the input will be saved. So we have input. And what we can do is we can also strip in case there is any space, either leading or trailing space, when the user or the customer enters the information. And the other thing we'd like to do is we also want to, because if we look at the names of our artists or our keys, we have the first letters uppercase. So we want to make sure that whatever input the user enters is also, the first letter is capital or uppercase. So we can use the title case to do the title function to do that. The next step would be to confirm if the choice of the user is, by that I mean if the ticket they're indicating that they want to purchase, if it's listed in what we have, in the tickets that we are selling. So for this, we can use the if statement to check that. So what we're saying is this: if the ticket, right, depending on the choice, if the ticket is inside of concert, right, then we want Python to print "have fun tonight." Now, what if the ticket is not inside? Then we want to say else. We want you to print, sorry, that. We can say that show is not in sale. Now, before we get to print out "have fun tonight," there are 2 conditions we sort of need to fulfill. One is we need to check, because we have an age limitation, so we need to confirm the age of the user or the customer, and then we need to also check if we have enough ticket. So we need another input statement right here. And what we can, right here, we can have an input statement asking the user for their age, or asking them to confirm their age. And right now we can also, right here we can strip as well. Now the other thing is, because we need to confirm, because the value has to be numeric, because we need to be able to confirm the numeric value in age with the value of age that the value we have here, which is numeric as well. So we need to convert all of this into an integer, because remember, an input from a user, the way Python converts this into a string data, but we need it to be in numeric. So we have to convert all of this into an integer. Why don't we run what we have so far? So if we run that, so we get the question, what ticket would you like to buy? So let's say the user types in Beyonce, and you can see now, even though I used B with a lowercase b, because we have this title function, this would have been changed to a capital uppercase B. And then the next question is, how old are you? And let's say, I say 24, and then it just prints out, have fun tonight. And we now see that the loop is working, because, once that's done, it goes back to what ticket would you like to buy? Now, assuming when it asks what ticket would you like to buy, right now I just type, let's just say I type Michael Jackson. And I enter that. It gives us, sorry, that show is not on, I think this should say is not on sale. Yeah, so now it's just going to tell us, sorry, that ticket is not on sale, and then it loops back to ask what ticket would you like to buy. So now let's just go on with our codes, but I think I'll also write out some comment here. Now that the user provided their age, we need to confirm if the customer's age is equal or greater than the minimum age requirement we have stipulated for each of those tickets. I'm going to write out the code for that, and then we'll go through it together. So what we are saying is this: if the age supplied or provided by the customer, which we will get from this input statement, if it is greater or equal to, now we have the name of the dictionary concert, and then we have the key, which is now ticket, because remember, whatever input we get from this initial question of what ticket would you like to buy would have to be one of those values. It has to be one of those keys. So that's being represented as ticket. So assuming that a customer enters Beyonce, right? So this is now going to be concert and the key of Beyonce. And now if we look at the values, we know that the first value is at index 0. And which is the age requirement, and then the number of tickets is index 1. So we are saying that if the age that we have supplied by the customer is equal or greater than 16, right, then print have fun tonight. What if the customer's age is lower than the age requirement we have? What do we want Python to do? So now we can say else print, sorry, you are too young. So now we're saying that if the input or the customer's age is lower than 16 for Beyonce, just print out, sorry, you're too young. And let's try that out. So click on run. Now when I click on run, because I just added new codes, it's sort of like messing up with with all we've done so far. So all we need to do is just click on kernel and then click on restart and run all. And this is just going to refresh. This would refresh kernel and just run the code from the beginning again. Right, so now we have what ticket would you like to buy, and let's say Beyonce. If we enter how old are you, and like say I put in the age of 12, so now we get sorry, you're too young. And let's say I'm gonna go back to Beyonce again, and now let's say 25, we have fun tonight. So we know that our code is working so far. All right. So far, we are able to confirm if the ticket the customer is requesting is available, or if it's part of what we have listed, and we are also able to confirm the age of the customer. The next condition is to confirm if we actually have enough ticket, if we have the ticket available, because remember the second index here represents the total number of tickets available. So we want to confirm that we actually have tickets to sell. For that, we'll have another if statement. I'm going to tap down here. So say if. Okay, so what we're saying is this: if the key index 1, which is the total number of available tickets, if it is greater than 0, which means we have available ticket, print have fun tonight. Else, we want you to print, sorry, we are sold out. Okay. There's one more thing we need to do, because once a customer buys a ticket, we also want to make sure that that ticket is deducted from the total number of available tickets. So we need to pass, we have to write a code to do that. All right, so let's go through this together. So what we're saying is this: we are reassigning a new value to the total number of available tickets, and the way we're doing that is this: we're saying that we'll come back to this later. So we're saying that concert, right, our dictionary, the key of ticket index 0, which we know is the total number of tickets, minus 1. So once this happens, right, once we get to a point where we're saying have fun, enjoy the show, once a ticket is purchased, we want that purchase ticket to be deducted from the total number of tickets available. Now, once that is done, then we reassign that value to the total number of tickets. So let's say someone buys a Beyonce ticket. Right now we know it's 5. Once we print have fun tonight, then we want to deduct that. We want to deduct that ticket that they purchased, and then reassign whatever is left. In this case, it will be 4. Then we reassign, the value right here to 4. Let's run this. Okay. When I click on run, nothing really happens. I just click on kernel, restart, and run. All right, so now let's confirm if the tickets are being deducted once a ticket is purchased. And we're just going to, let's just use, we'll use Beyonce since we've been using that already. So what ticket would you like to buy? And let's say a user comes and wants to buy Beyonce. We have 23, and then let's, again, let's say 34. Let's say, how old are you? 23. So far we have 3 tickets sold. Okay, so what ticket would you like to buy? And let's say 25. Okay, and what ticket would you want to buy? Let's say 23. So now let's see what happens, because now we should have sold out all our tickets. And how old are you? Let's say 40. And now we get the, sorry, we are sold out printed out, because if we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we have all of our 5 tickets for Beyonce has been sold out. So now requesting another one, we get the prompt, sorry, we are sold out. So now, the customer can choose to, buy another ticket, let's say Katy Perry, right? So now, how old are you? 23, and you get the gist. So right now, if Katy Perry has 4 tickets, but we just sold out 1, so 3 will be left. And if we just keep running that, we can see that, that code is now working. We're able to make a, deduct once a ticket is bought. So I'm just going to make a comment right here. Now, one thing to note is that you can see that we have if statement inside of another if statement, and then you have another if statement, and it's important to get indentation right, because if you don't get it right, then Python won't be able to run this code. So just pay attention to that. But yeah, I mean, take a look at it. We've been able to, and let's just run this again. I'm just going to refresh kernel, reset and run all. We now have an application capable of selling tickets to customers and automatically updating the number of tickets available. I mean, for this project, we created a dictionary. We added values to the keys by using a list. And then we created a while loop, asked for the customers, confirm which ticket the customer would like to buy, and also check if we do have those tickets or not. We also use the if statement to perform a number of logics. We ask for the customer's age. We confirm that they meet the minimum age requirement for a particular ticket, and if they met the requirement, we sold the ticket and immediately update the number of tickets sold or the number of tickets available. So this is really amazing, and congratulations, great job. And this is something that you can try again, of course, and perhaps also even share with like people that family and friends, to show them what you're capable of doing using Python.